Well, it's been a couple of months at a time. Uh, Not a lot have changed. Apart, I'm not really sure if anything has changed. I'll be honest. I'll turn on the light. Shit, that's a lot of light. So, few key things here to probably note about me that has changed for the past few months. I would say my voice has somewhat balanced between this point. I think it's mainly because I've been more or less, let's say, speaking in deep voices more lately. It's helped so far. I could actually still revert back to my previous voice, which I actually think is more annoying. So I'll go with this one. It's more diluted, feels better. So what am I going to talk about today? So my ability to procrastinate lately has become quite persistent. Oh, sorry, I have like a nose issue. I know. I know a lot of people are like, why the hell do you keep it like a roll of tissues right there? Why don't you buy a box of tissues? I'm like, they're the same thing, aren't they? That's weird. Like, what's essentially the difference between a roll of tissue and a box of tissue? One is in a box that's aesthetically made that way, and the other one is in a roll. It's just like I figured out a couple of months ago, why the hell should I be using hair oil? Anyways, that is another topic for later. I think maybe hair oils are more important because my hair right now looks like, I don't even want to say. I'm not gonna say. It looks terrible. Oh, by the way, what I'm looking at is like my second screen. Ugh, not shit. Sorry, not all that visible, not all that clear. But minor upgrades, not really. Apart from the camera being closer. So yeah, like I previously mentioned, my procrastination has gone to a whole other level. Like I have layers of insomnia, and I have to make notes, like in this like Dollarama books. The reason why I bought this ones is because the pages are plain, and I can draw it without making the notes look like a mess. I do love drawing once in a while. It keeps my sanity in place. It's really weird to see what sort of like weird insanity happens in my head. Not the best place. You don't want to be in my head, anyways. Um, so I've rambled on for 3 minutes. I'm checking if the mic is on. Hopefully, it's on. Christ. Oh, I should have gotten like the hand that keeps the mic up like this, so I wouldn't have to hold it all the time. Uh, I think maybe I should switch the position of the camera. Yeah, I'll switch. Okay, there's a tissue over there, and like I said, studies, a lot of studies. Um, I do recently actually want to try studying, and I'm actually going through my PC right now and deleting a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, I cannot share my screen, but if I could, I would definitely do it. I don't know why YouTube does not like have the option where you can actually just record your screen without using a third party app. Well, I'm guessing they're trying to just reduce the amount of memory it takes. Anyways, acceptable, acceptable, indeed. My library. Geez, I downloaded a bunch of stuff from like Unreal Engines, and I made like two projects, which didn't work out. I don't exactly know why I was doing this sort of stuff, honestly. I'm a weird individual. Anyways, I'll go to this and uninstall it. Mm, control panel. So reason I'm making a video this night is just essentially to, well, document myself after a couple of months and see the slight difference. Oh, you might not have noticed I'm still the same physique. I'm kidding. It's like my shoulders got bigger though. It's I think a lot more people have been complimented for that. So I wore this shirt a couple of months ago. If you might not have noticed, and it's actually one of my favorite shirts. It's gonna get old though, but it's my way of knowing how much change I've gone through. My skin tone has also become slightly lighter. Well, probably because of the lotion I'm using these days. Yeah, I'm using more lotion these days. Like previously, I wasn't even using lotion at all, and I was like smacking Vaseline on my face, which makes your skin greasy and basically deep fries you. I was crunchy chicken. A lot of people were like, "Oh, your color is even like chocolate," and a lot of people didn't recognize me. And well, now that I'm using lotion, a lot of people are like, "Oh, Valentine, it's you from like high school." I'm like, "Shit, yeah, that makes a lot of sense." I'm guessing I got darker. Thank you. It is what it is. Um, a couple of months ago, I said maybe I might be single all my life, and I may have made some changes. I've not started dating, obviously, but I'm considering as compared to my inflexible mindsets a couple of while ago. And this is not because I can't love. Yeah, love, the definition to me is still like precisely it's a word. And it's a word that I can say with conviction. And I just don't say it to anybody. And of course, I can say I love my homies because my bros. I can say I love my parents because, well, they sort of deserve to hear it sometimes. And I could definitely say I love my sisters, which I have quite a lot now. What, seven? Why the hell do I have to be the only boy? Yeah, I'm not gonna make a whole YouTube video on how much I have, like how I have seven sisters and what, four, five, six moms. Yeah, you don't want to know that story. It's weird. It's weird and wacky. Anyways, when I'm in 5 or 6 months, I call my aunts my mom. So yeah, I count them as in that group. Not that my dad had an affair with them, because that would be weird and creepy. Don't think of it that way. So few couple of months, mostly gymming. My arm somewhat defined. I'm not sure if I should wear my tank top on stream though. I see a few people do that. They're like, "Ugh, look at my muscle. Oh, look at my muscle. I'm so strong." It's cold in this room. I'm not doing that. Probably the next time, like in the summer when it's warm. 100% I'm gonna do that. Trust me. You don't want to see me in tank top. Get ready for me to bench. Actually, I'm actually planning on benching 300. I think at the moment I'm so weak. I bench only 120. Insignificantly poor human. Oh well, I suck. I suck at the moment. Like super suck. I heard the bar was 45. Initially, I told myself I benched. Wait a minute, wait a minute. The bar is 45. I haven't been counting the bar the whole time. I'm stupid. So 45, 45, which is 90, 10, 10 on each side, which is about 110. 110 plus 45. Jesus, I've been benching 155. And I've been thinking that I'm weak. Anyways, I'm still weak. Um, because I've seen people on TikTok bench 500. Yeah, it makes me jealous. And when I get jealous, I work hard. And that is definitely my motto of studying. Get jealous, dislike it, compare the ages. If the person is just slightly older than me, try to beat the person's goal at their age. If the person is younger than me, I get depressed, angry, and I work three times harder to impress them. It's more or less. That's pretty much how I motivate myself into doing things, and it's pretty bad. because well, I'm still in basically the same apartment. I could have moved actually. No, the prices are good for now. The inflation is so terrible. I took like a lease for 1 year just in case, and it actually paid off. So the prices are soaring high right now. I'll probably not find an apartment like this anywhere else that will not cost 600 or 650, which basically forced me to move into the dorm. I I think maybe at that point I'll move to the dorm. Like if the prices in this apartment like skyrockets, I'll move to the dorm. Also, I plan on getting a car because if I'm moving out of this place, well, I don't want to move in. I don't want to move like in steps, or I have a lot of stuff to. I don't know what the hell was happening these few months. My brain just, I just went on a shopping spree. Trust me, like it was like big bags and bags and bags and bags and bags and bags. Till before I realized that my whole room was just filled with stuff. Like these are new shirts, and I just bought them for like what the summer because I realized I actually literally have no shirt that is not long sleeves, and I cannot wear a long sleeve in summer. Also, I have to learn how to swim because, well, as they say, black people don't swim. I want to prove them wrong. I don't swim yet. I'm guessing I proved the point. I always tell my friends if you're inviting me, invite me anywhere else, but not the pool. Just like seriously, not the pool, unless you're trying to kill me or something. Oh shit. Ooh. Okay, that's pretty bad. Okay, I was trying to get rid of Epic Launcher. Holy shit. Okay, no, no, no. Epic's launcher is refusing to shut down. Okay, apparently when you open settings, it doesn't shut down. Pretty dumb. Um, I've been rambling for a couple of minutes right now. I feel like some people that I know might be closely watching these videos. I wish they're not. I'm pretty sure I changed the name of this channel just for that, just so they don't figure out exactly my channel directly. Because I don't delete these videos. I'm never gonna. And I say part of the reason is because I actually do want to see like the personal growth in which I go through, and try to see some things that were either stuck in my head at a particular instant in time, and see if maybe I've changed like a few moments after that. It's I say it's I would say awesome, but I'll put the focus on the awe and say really awesome because it's amazing seeing the short amount of growth that you can go through within a few couple of months after like rewatching an old video as compared to like what I was doing before, which was like I'll make videos after a week, I'll watch it, and yeah, that was really bad actually doing that. So anybody that's doing it out there, if you make a video and rewatch it, and like the next week you watch it again, what you're doing is basically reinforcing a mindset and recalling the same experience back. So it's like loading a saved game data. It doesn't really necessarily help you for your growth, but it almost makes you stagnant and stubborn to a certain idea. It's basically self indoctrination. So I basically like if you're someone out there just doing that, I urge you stop, make videos, don't watch them for a couple of months, then watch them. It makes more sense that way, because from then you can be like, oh, I just learned this new information a couple of months ago from like people or from this source, and it's helped me interact, or it's helped me realize more things into the world. And that's when now you're like, oh wow, this whole bunch of stuff has happened in between this time frame, and it's changed my perspective and my talk on that sort of thing. For example, my thing with gender, for example. Yeah, anybody that has probably watched my previous videos will know I have a big thing with gender. Like predominantly, it's just because I know male as XY, female as XX, male, female. That's how I identify like humans. Man, woman, I think this should be like self-explanatory, male, female. It's the same word, just changed into different thing. Now the word gender describes man and woman, right? But your sex also identifies man and woman. That's your actual sex. But now gender is also like this sort of weird word that people created to avoid saying sex. As usual, Americans always seem to create like these new words. Of course, they've caused confusion. For example, soccer. Why? Is it because you wear sock while playing it? Because I know every sport you wear socks because wearing your shoes without socks is disgusting. So why the hell is this soccer? Questionable. Americans have done a bunch of stuff throughout the years, and a lot of it has caused like backlashes back to them. So yeah, as if I didn't already know. America, good luck. You're causing problem with yourself. I would say the word gender, for example, I've always had a big issue with it. I'm still more or less on the same point where some trans man wants to call himself a woman. Fine and all right. I'm not gonna be your friend. Bye. Well, I'm gonna be your friend, but know that I'll never use he, she. In fact, I'll never discuss about your name to anybody because that's when you use pronouns. You use pronouns to refer to a person when the person is absent from the location or discussion. Because if you were here, I'll use your name, and if you are not here, I'll not use your name. And it certainly makes more sense that way. So those pronouns, well, no, you will never be the topic of my discussion. Essentially, that's the only way for me to solve the problem by not talking about you to anybody else. You don't exist in my discussion. It's pretty bad. So I suggest if you want to make me propagate your name around the place without feeling conflicted about my own personal notions, well, I guess you sort of have to be turning a blind eye on what I say if I make a mistake, anyways. Of course, I can use your pronouns. It's just not really hard to use. If you want me to use Sir Demon or Sir Satan, okay, Sir Satan, Z, Z, them, although you're just one person, but them say, okay. I know I should not be mocking like this. Anyways, that's my whole issue with like the people that are transitioning left and right. I definitely think it's something that they'll always regret and change it because at the moment during the COVID period, it was trending. People were going into um, depressions, and they were having like this moments where they were realizing things about themselves and confusing themselves with this sort of flawed. I'll say like those this huge flood of information coming from the net. Like the internet has existed for what, a couple of years right now, but cell phones have only been commercialized to almost every home, every apartment. In fact, almost everybody owns a digital device that can access a network and actually pull out information in text, audio, or video. So you have like this huge wave of information spreading through all this media. And sometimes the information is not itself valid, and which caused a bunch of people to just question a bunch of stuff like, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And of course, some people will spread like a whole bunch of chaos out there through the same social media. And of course, I would not want to call the human race dumb, but there's some parts of the human race that I feel like, yeah, they seriously need to open their ears and learn how to listen without talking. I'm not saying they're dumb. They just very stubborn to listen. Like I have cousins, I have sisters that when I'm like, okay, this is one of the issues I like talking with them. Uh, famous topic: women oppression. Great, awesome topic. Like when I always bring this up, they're like, "Oh, men have benefit." I'm like, look at me, I'm a black man, right? A black man, 18th century, 16th century, up to like the 1960s. Our fathers and grandfathers experienced what we call slavery. Right? This oppression that you're talking about women, black community, you guys will not be inside. So don't move for like, don't go for like this feminism nonsense. That's not what you guys were into because you guys were not even treated as humans for the past how many years? It's only been like what, 80, 60 years ever since people started being treated like humans. So don't behave like you've always been inclusive in history. So I certainly say this is not your place for you to argue. That's one thing I always tell them. And they're like, Yeah, obviously, isn't that true? It's history. Now, for the women that argue about, oh, men are suffering, and now when I try to put like advocacy to the white men, I'm like, oh well, they were not in the best position either. Like majority of men in the past were like they arranged marriages for them. Like their mothers would pick wives, their fathers would pick wives. In most cases, usually their mothers would pick wives for them. So they never even had the choice to. So all this thing about women not having the choice, yeah, men also didn't have the choice. Also, when they were forced to military draft, they'll pick young men to go fight wars. Guess who survives? Yeah, the woman. And she will definitely be married by another man and be provided for. Isn't that just amazing? Which is why I'm like, you think about it, both sides suffered. I'm just not saying that one suffered more than the other one. Yes, women suffered in their own place, but for the most part, their suffering was caused by the men also suffering. Like both were just suffering, inflicting self injuries. And the weird cycle just continued on. We basically get to the like this age where we have a bunch of rules and laws that are like, oh well, you guys should acknowledge women. Yes, we acknowledge them. And also, please, would it be also hard to acknowledge the men that somewhat what build the society to this point or failed the society and arrived to this point? The rockets, the internet. Like if some stupid men or some war-driven men didn't enter those rockets that blew up more than 1,000 times, or that went and tried to invent those stuff, or Marie Curie, for example, that got killed by what radioactivity. I'm not exactly sure what her name is. Is it Marie Curie? I'll go read it. But anyways, those are people that experienced and their death, their carelessness, and their mistakes all made who we are right now. And it doesn't matter whether they had a penis or uh, a vag, that anything in history changes. Like they just who they are, and they essentially built society to this point. And we should acknowledge them for that, not their genders or their sexualities. That really doesn't matter in like the big scheme of things. Like the bigger scheme of things is even this thing with race, for example. Race should be just something that's acknowledged. I'm black. Yeah, that's it. I don't think there should be anything different apart from probably from my hair. Yeah, my hair is spongy. If you ever want to touch it in public, just ask me. Feel free to touch, caress, pull. Don't yank it. I'm gonna get pissed. But it feels like if you ever touched a teddy bear and squeezed it, that's pretty much what it feels like. As soft as a teddy bear. You want to touch, just ask. I don't see this thing called microaggression. Like people just seem to create these layers and layers of things that tends to make people feel uncomfortable. Like if you tend to associate, like think of the black people, for example, a bunch of things that are taboo for black people. For example, you're not allowed to stigmatize them, like saying black people love chicken or KFC. I love chicken. Like a bunch of people from Africa, born and raised in Africa, will love chicken because that was something that was cooked during ceremonial occasions. So we developed like it became like our rare meat, almost like how people treat lobsters or crabs, rare. Like unless you're living so close to those areas that produce an excess of them, they're rare meat. So the majority of chicken and meat, chicken was mostly rare meat, and as a result, I would say we developed like a taste for chicken. So whenever they say black people like chicken, I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I love chicken. I'm not sure about the rest, but I love chicken, and I'm a black man, so I can clearly say you're right on that. Or black people don't know how to swim. I've tried. I can swim forward and backwards, but I cannot tread. It's really weird though. I don't know why I can't tread. And I've done exactly the same steps. I'm probably sure my bones are heavy. I've also tried getting fat. I went to check my, I don't know what you call it, my body ratio or blood ratio, whatever. Apparently the doctor was like, you at peak health. And I'm like, I. peak health. Yo, you know what I eat? No, wait, I eat 4 times a day. Don't get me wrong, but look at this body. I even take snacks in between, but look at this body. Actually, it's partially because I slow eat. It's pretty bad, and also my metabolism is. I don't want to use the F word, but it's pretty crazy to a point where, like, if I eat too much, I start shitting a lot, and if I eat excess, I get like what diarrhea for a couple of days. Usually, I would say, oh, maybe it's because of the stuff I ate, but even if I eat healthy stuff, I'll get diarrhea in a couple of days. So, in order not to waste food, I eat what I eat. 4 meals a day. Body build stuff. It will take me a while to get there though. This is fitting. And this is like what? A small shirt? I think. It should be a small shirt. Have a jacket. But it should be a small shirt. Um, what was I going to talk about? The next part. I talked about. Oh yeah, I was talking about race and stuff like that. Oh yeah, the other thing is, uh, I'll say a weird revelation of recent is my stigma at viewing black women. And this I'll just make like a whole separate video of it just after this one. Be sure to watch.